Hey you, come, gather around the campfire, and welcome to the party. This is Party Chat, a JRPG podcast where we talk about everything that we love in the world of JRPGs and other Eastern titles. I am one of your hosts, Cameron Hawkins, and with me, as always, is my party partner, Kevin Kenson. Kevin, you put your arm up earlier, and I thought you were doing like the Wakanda Forever salute or something. I was just like,
no,
what are you
I thought
doing
I saw
over there?
like a cat fuzz on my shirt, so I was like, "Oh no, oh
Yeah,
god!"
The way you
stands
did it
out
was
on the
just
black
like, it was like this. This is the vibe I
shirt.
got.
It was just it was the one arm, but I see how that looks that way. I see how it looks that way.
Kevin, how you doing?
I'm awake, is what I am right now. Obviously we're recording this episode a little extra late because Nintendo loves doing Thursday directs. I already put up my own video, just kind of with some immediate thoughts. You and I are going to talk a little more in depth about all this. But we also have a lot of other news to catch up on. This is a news-heavy episode.
This is all news, baby. All news.
All news, baby.
Outside of like one thing that I want to talk about like very shortly, but all news. Yeah, I mean, the last week has kind of been a blur for me. Like, I don't even know if I have like a story to tell, like for this week to tell you. I got a job interview next week, which is cool. Yeah, so hopefully that becomes somewhere. Because boy, let me tell you, it's tough out in these streets right now. But I really don't. There's nothing that comes to mind immediately where I'm like, I could talk to Kevin about this. So sorry.
It helps that we do have a bonus episode up where I think we got a little of energy out already. So like,
yeah,
I say it's up. It's gonna go up very shortly after this one. I gotta get that one up, but that'll be up this weekend. So
yeah, we recorded a bonus episode like specifically talking about Magic the Gathering and how we feel about the game currently and some other stuff with like secret layers and all that jazz. Which they announced the Dungeons and Dragons one like when we were recording, so we just had like we got to stop for a sec. They just announced this. We got to check this out. But yeah, so we're just gonna. I do have one small story, which is just whatever. But so for those that don't know, which would be most people, Disneyland is doing, or Disney Parks is doing like a Kingdom Hearts series of pins this year, and each one is like the design is like very similar, but it's a different keyblade with like a heart behind it, and each month is a different keyblade. So I have a friend who lives in Anaheim who like is like a park pass holder or whatever. So they go they go, and they're also a big Kingdom Hearts fan, so they're going for themselves, right? And so they went in January. They got the Kingdom Key one for me, which was super dope. And then the one for this month being Three Wishes, which is the Aladdin Keyblade from the first game. I believe all the Keyblades are from the first game.
it seems that way at least. Yeah.
Yeah. She went this past Tuesday, and I guess like everyone kind of found out about these new pins, or not just this, but like other merch as well, and it was just way busier. And so she was luckily able to get one for herself because you can only limit it to two. So it sounds like her and her partner like split up to try and like get them. And her partner was able to get one. And so I am unfortunately not, I have to go to the dark depths of eBay to buy mine. And like the prices, don't like it. Don't like it.
Yeah, I was about to say like this doesn't really apply to you because you're just going to go out of your way to get all of them anyways. But I was going to say at least it was like the Kingdom Key ended up being the one that was like an easy grab, because I feel like it's actually like
that's going to be the most
priority.
expensive one. Yep.
Yeah, and like for that to be the one that was like easier to grab, like there's probably so many people who learned about this too late and are now just kicking themselves looking at that one.
Yeah,
because it's just like the iconic default.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping that like maybe in the back half of the month I can wrangle up the money to pick one up, because like again, all of it in general more than I want to spend money on. But you know, if I have the money to do so, I will scoop it up. And the first one again, like I think the you know when they showed the pictures of them, I was like, okay, these are nicely designed, but like after getting one, like after getting the first one, the detail, the quality of the pen, like because it's $25, that's how much they sell it for. I honestly think that they could have sold it for more, and I wouldn't have been mad about it. Like, oh no, this feels like a $40 pen, like just based off the size and like the quality of it. Very very cool. So yeah, I definitely want to get the full set. But yeah, she was talking about how she was going to some of the the pin traders, of course, like the those fuckers, and was just like, hey, like I want to buy one of the pins from you, and they're like $400.
Nice.
That's insane.
Nice.
No, that's not nice. That's not nice. It's the opposite. So yeah, took an L this week, but we're gonna bounce back. Now we're gonna get into housekeeping for this week. If you have been enjoying the show, please go to your podcast service of choice, give us a 5-star review, and subscribe to youtube.com/@partychatjrpgpod. It really helps us. Kevin and I have both rolled credits on Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. We do have a review video and episode up on podcast services and YouTube for y'all to check out. Go to youtube.com/Kevin Kenson and hit the subscribe button over there. And also, been forgetting to mention this in the housekeeping. Just a reminder, like our Discord is open now, so like we have a Discord link in the comments or description of the video. So if you are wanting to hop in the Discord, or you've always wanted to, but you didn't, when we had the tier where you had to pay to get in, like please hop in. We've had a lot of people hop in. It's been really great having new people come in and vibe with us. It's been really good energy, we'd love to have more of y'all in there.
Yeah, we even got a new person join in right before we started recording, and we haven't put anything up today, so it was just kind of like, oh, they found us somehow.
Yeah, no, like it is one of those things where when people show up, it's like, oh, y'all, like this is not the time when I expected this, but okay, because you kind of expected it would happen like shortly after you put up a video. Nope, it just happens randomly. It's like
whenever
okay.
They happen to stumble upon it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And then just a last reminder, we have a single $5 subscription tier that gives you access to the weekly episode a day early on normal weeks. This week is a bit different. As well as access to our bonus episode and our Campfire Catalog podcast, which is our book club podcast.
Yeah.
So this whole episode is basically going to be news. We got a bunch of news over the past week, and then we had the Nintendo Direct this morning, which is why we delayed the episode when we learned on Monday or Tuesday that hey, there's probably going to be a Direct on Thursday. So we were just like, all right, we're going to risk it. We're going to either talk about the Nintendo Direct, or there's no Direct this week, and then we're going to do the same thing next week. So yeah, we're going to get into the non-Nintendo Direct related stuff first, and then we'll hop into the Nintendo Direct thoughts for our topic of the show this week. First story. It looks like it's happening, Kevin. It looks like we're getting Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition. Or, I don't think this is what it's going to be, but it could also be like a Xenoblade Warriors type game.
Yep, I've seen that theory as well.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a definitive edition or like a Switch 2 edition. But yeah, one of the voice actors on one of her pages, it leaks that she is basically returning to voice Cosmos, which is one of the blades from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And so a lot of people are now just kind of hypothesizing that that is coming sometime soon.
Yeah,
Kevin?
the funniest thing about that reveal, well, not reveal, but leak, whatever you want to call it, is there's a few people I follow that don't really care for 2, but they really love like the older Xeno titles. And so they see Cosmos and their brain goes to Saga first, even though it said like Xenoblade Chronicles is like the overhead of like what the role was for. And they were like, "Oh, like are we getting like a Xenosaga remake? Are they like incorporating Xenosaga into Xenoblade?" Like, no, Cosmos showed up in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as a blade, so that's probably what this is. And like the immediate energy knocked out of those folks' sails as a result. Like we've had, because I think it was our last episode where I went on my tangent about it. Like I have my opinions on it. I'm not as negative as some folks are, but it's not my favorite. But there are some folks who are just like seething that, this could have been a different Xeno announcement. It's like, no, this is probably Chronicles 2. Like that just makes the most sense here for a lot of reasons. Xeno Warriors would be cool. I very much doubt it just because the listing was saying like, oh, Xenoblade Chronicles in 2026. And like, I don't see getting another Warriors game that fast right off of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment just last year. Like that's just a pretty quick, I mean, like, they can pump them out. They've, that is a franchise that they have ready releases to go, but that feels just a bit too quick, especially for collaboration one. So I would be down for that at some point, to be honest. I like a lot of the collaboration ones with Nintendo. Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, like I have a good time with them. But
Yeah, I have them all, and I want to play them. I just haven't yet, so that's just kind of the situation there. Like Three Hopes, because I heard people said Three Hopes is really good.
I like Three Hopes a lot.
And it's just like, oh, like I kind of want to suck it up and finish Three Houses, just so I have like the idea of like what the other route was before this completely brand new route.
Yeah,
if that makes
Three
sense.
Hopes absolutely plays with the idea that you're familiar with Three Houses. Like it assumes you've played Three Houses. Like you'd probably understand enough fine without it, but I think some of the pacing and stuff would feel a lot wackier.
Okay. But yeah, I'm super excited. I hope this happens. I need a reason to play through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again, and this would be it for sure. And I would love to hear your thoughts after a replay. That's
After some fresh eyes.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Because small tangent, and then we'll get back to the next story piece. When I replayed through Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I did initially play it in Japanese because I agree. Like some of the voice acting's not super great.
Yeah.
Japanese isn't much better, if I'm being honest. In that game in particular, I was just like.
Yeah, I mean, I do all the Xenoblade games in Japanese when I'm able. Yeah, I agree, but I'd still take it over the English one. I think honestly, the biggest thing, honestly, for me, outside of how performances come across in like cutscenes and that kind of deal, it makes the barks in combat a lot more manageable. It's like I'll recognize how they sound, but because I don't actually know what they're saying, it's less annoying than like, now it's Rhine time, now it's Rhine time, now it's Rhine time. It's like, all right. Cool.
I don't disagree with you there. Yusuke Tomizawa, the current director of the Tales of IP, has shared thoughts on a potential remake. This was in an interview with Game Informer. He says, quote, remakes are also often need a lot of resources. Almost as much as making a new game, sometimes even more. It's not an easy project. Even if we do one, it'll need to have as much potential as a new game. There have been lots of discussions internally about potential ones, but we understand that fans want old games, especially ones where people fondly remember them. So it's a possibility. Timing does need to work out for them. End quote. I mean, kind of W for them, like being like, people want the old games, like we want to bring
acknowledging
over
it.
Yeah, because I just feel like that isn't a thing we really hear from Japanese devs very often, where it's just like, yeah, we want to like port over the old stuff because that's what people want. It's like, yes, that is what we want.
I think part of that is like how often there are great opportunities to actually interview like Japanese devs and talent. But yeah, like,
That
that's
is true.
absolutely
That is
a
100%
thing.
true.
That's like, are we going to talk about that?
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Like I still, I see a world down the line where there is a Tales of remake. But also like, yo, where's like the new entry too, right? It's been a long time since Arise. Like, it's
Yep.
kind of surprising it's taken this long.
And
And
the
again,
re-
I don't know exactly like how the teams are split up over at Bandai. Like, I don't know if like the Code Vein team, because I'm pretty sure the Code Vein 2 team is the team that worked on Scarlet Nexus. I'm pretty sure that's how that worked. It was Code Vein, Scarlet Nexus, Code Vein 2. But what about the Tails team? Like, they've done like, obviously they're doing like the remasters and stuff, but like, come on, where's we get Tales of Arise, we get this really bizarre, unexpected DLC super far down the line, does not review well, and now we're just like waiting again for whatever the new entry is.
yeah, and not to mention we just got new. Like this will come up a little later, but we just got news about Tales of Arise coming back again because of Switch 2. So yeah, it's just kind of waiting for them to maybe do something new. Like if they ended up announcing like a proper, like pretty big remake, something along the lines of not splitting up into a trilogy, but something along the lines of like the Final Fantasy VII remakes, right? Where it's like, oh, you are taking something that looked one way years ago and are like making something fresh and new with the same base plot elements. I would be fine with that instead of like a proper brand new entry. Like if that's where their energies were going. Because most of the older ones would need like a proper remake at this point, outside of all the remasters they've been doing lately. And there's some where like they could maybe get away with just like replace some textures and make it look prettier on a modern display. But yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the next proper like new release for Tales is. Whether that's a remake or a brand new entry. There's got to be
Yeah.
something soon,
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah, something that isn't a remaster for sure. Um Sony has submitted a new patent for a buttonless controller, an adaptive touch controller specifically. Uh, they like Sony published it and said that it's basically talks about it's a capacitive. Sorry, I was like, how do you say that word? Capacitive touch controller with no physical buttons. The controller accepts input via adaptive virtual buttons that are not fixed to any positions and instead work based on how the user holds it. Kevin, does anyone want this? Like,
Weak. Look, I feel like if you're gonna do something like this, you just do like a phone connectivity thing or something. Because it's like, we already have versions of this when you do things like stream play on your phone. Although you don't have the adaptive buttons, which is I guess that's like the selling point, right? It's like, oh, it'll shift around, so it's like just the right, like matching to your fingers. And look, maybe this is one of those things where they did it. They figure out whatever the secret is, and it's actually like good. But generally speaking, a pure touchscreen style interface for gaming, there's ways to make it palatable, but it's never preferable to like actual physical controls because the tactileness of actually pressing a button and having a stick where you have like refined stick aiming and there's stick tensions involved and such, and not to mention like if you have things like triggers where it actually matters how far you're pulling the trigger or how quickly, there's just so many elements that adapted to a pure touch interface is not good. Like I understand, like it's like no, it's the future though. Touch screens are cool, and here's the thing: patents oftentimes don't mean anything. There are so many registered patents for major companies that turned into absolutely nothing. There's even a Nintendo controller patent that's not that different from this Sony one, where it was a screen with sticks on it, like physical sticks protruding out of the screen, and you would use the sticks and buttons to control, but then you'd have a display like on the controller itself, because that's where the game is, which sounds awful because now your thumbs are blocking gameplay. But they had a patent for that, and some people were like, is that going to be the Switch controller? This was back in like 2016, pre-Switch reveal. And that never turned into anything. And I'm not saying that's going to be the case with this. Maybe Sony really likes the idea, and this does turn into something that drops 2 years from now, 3 years from now, something with the PS6. I don't know. But I'm not remotely excited by the concept.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I'm curious if it might have some sort of use in the accessibility side of things. But outside of that, it's like no one wants this. No one wants this. Next story. Bloober Team has teased some sort of announcement for February 14th, Valentine's Day. A lot of people immediately suggested that it's a Rule of Rose remake because there is a rose on the timer.
Oh, man.
Which would be really cool because it's it's very much a beloved PS2 horror classic that is extremely expensive to get a hold of nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games that I think it's a lot of reverence for how hard it is to get. There's a lot of people who've played it who are like, oh, this is actually absolutely awful to play. But it's kind of a cool concept, and it costs, 4 digits now to buy a sealed copy, so it's neat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, which was later debunked that it wasn't Rule of Rose. So, but I mean, we do know that they're remaking the original Silent Hill.
Yep.
I'm assuming that's what this is. Do you have any other ideas?
The only thing about it being original Silent Hill is that I don't know why the rose imagery. I don't know why Valentine's Day is the tie-in. I feel like you want to do that. Like 2 would make sense because it's a guy looking for his wife, right? Which is what they've already done. Silent Hill 1 is a guy looking for his daughter, and so it just doesn't feel quite as thematically appropriate to do a V-Day tie-in. In terms of projects we know they're working on, that absolutely is the thing. This feels like maybe a new project to me, though. Sure, could be Silent Hill 1. It just feels like an odd tie-in to me.
Yeah, we'll see. Because as I said before, the CEO Bloober Team said good guess, but no. On Rule of Rose. So who knows? But it'll be interesting to see once they reveal it. They've kind of been on a good roll recently. I think that Bloober Team for a while had this kind of idea of they make solid games, but they just can't really get pushed push back that barrier, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, even I forget it was the CEO or one of the main devs or whatever, but even they made a comment about hey, we realize we've made games that generally have a kind of shitty reception. They're not bad, they're just not
amazing.
Great. Yeah, they're not good. And Silent Hill 2 was certainly one of the better things they've done by far. And I haven't played it myself yet, but I heard fine things about Chronos. It wasn't as strong.
I heard it was
of a
pretty
reception.
good.
Yeah,
I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah, compared to their other original releases, it is a step in the right direction. It's still not quite there yet, but I heard that was a solid one.
Yeah, so we'll see. Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream, is releasing on April 16th. Kevin, tell us what's up. What's going on with this?
It's some more Tomodachi Life. Look,
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on this, and we joked in the Discord about how Christine would advise me on it. We did not take the time to do that.
You should have said something.
Nah, we're diving in. No, look, it's. I saw a few people actually who weren't fans of the original one watch the direct for it and kind of walk away wait, hold on, am I kind of into this? Because Tomodachi Life really is I think people have an easy, immediate reaction to be oh, this is another Animal Crossing game, which is not entirely inaccurate, broad strokes kind of sense. It's a town simulator kind of dealy. But it's so bizarre, and there's so many interesting things, and a large part of it is because you are actually making the characters involved, instead of it just being set villager lists from Animal Crossing games. And there was one aspect of the reveal that got some reaction from folks because they revealed that with this one, which was kind of a promised thing before, you are able to choose like sexual orientation for your little guys. You can make them straight, you can make them gay, you can make them interested in non-binary. I'm not sure if there's an option to just hit like none. I wasn't clear to me from like some of the stuff that I saw, but it's still
Didn't
just like,
look like it, no.
yeah, or it could be like you just don't, because it's not an either or where you pick one. It's like you can mark whichever ones are relevant.
Yeah, you can
So I wonder if
multi-check.
you could just like not check mark any of them.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah, huh, yeah.
Anyways, that elicited some reactions from folks, which the thing is, this was like a promise. I remember kind of a joke in the Tamagotchi community was that they said, hey, we're going to add like same-sex relationships in the next game. And then we just didn't get a next one for a very long time. So it was like, oh, they promised it, and then we're just never getting a new game. Ha ha. But no, we're getting a new Tamagotchi, and we are getting that feature. So like, neat.
Neat, but with an asterisk, because the whole Nintendo not allowing screenshots to be taken in that game is
It's bizarre.
It's a bad
and
look.
people are going to find a way around to do stuff.
Oh,
And it's
100%.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like,
You just
cool, you're
set
making
up
this more
OBS
annoying,
and you
but-
just you just snip it. Okay.
Yep.
There are easy ways around that, but it's still just bizarre. It's still dumb.
Yeah.
But cool. Yeah. A new JRPG, called Villian Code, which is being developed by Koji Okada, Naoshi Satomi, and Tsukasa Masuko, who are basically like the original like creator, music, and writer people for the Megami Tensei series and the first 3 Persona games. They're making a game, and it's coming out in Japan on June 25th. It looks really interesting. The combat is real-time combat instead of turn-based, though, which is interesting. But I watched the trailer. It's like there's like a 4-minute long trailer on YouTube, and it looks interesting. It looks sick. It's something that like I'm like, yep. When this comes over, I'm definitely gonna check it out. I really like the art direction that they're going with it. There's obviously some things I'd like to learn more about, like how the combat works and stuff. But really cool thing. And so hopefully, in the next few days, probably once after the game comes out, we'll like get an official localization. Who that will be, who knows? Could be NIS, could be Spike Chunsoft, could be Axis. Who knows? But very, very, very cool. Did you get to check out this trailer at all, Kevin?
I have not yet. I want to check it out because I am a fan of older SMT folks. We've talked before about how I like Persona 3 and didn't really care as much for the ones after it. I still like them a lot, but there is like a bit of a shift. So knowing this is from like some of those folks, there's always the question of like, how much of that is which specific team members, and then what?
When I say the first 3 Persona games, I mean 1, Persona 2, Persona 2, and Innocent
Oh, you're
Sin.
counting. Okay, you're counting both two separately.
yes,
for that.
yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay. In which case, I still like those. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's always a question of which exact team members are responsible for which parts we ended up liking, and like whether or not they actually have the budget and resources to like do stuff again with a brand new title. But I certainly would want to be optimistic about this, like cautiously optimistic, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Kevin, you shared the story. Concept, the developer behind Mighty Number 9, has shut down.
Yep. That finally happened. That's sort of one of those things where it's just sort of like, yeah, I kind of thought that already did occur, like, to a lot of people. Because it's just like, what? Like, I know they've worked on other projects, like, since, and their name's been attached to other things. I think they've worked as a support studio. But it's just like, God. It's just like, that game did not exactly have the reception people were hoping for. There was all the failed Kickstarters, and Keiji Inafune's name has just become not a great one. There was kind of a reverence for him before these games released, and there was a lot of hope when like the Kickstarters went up. And yeah, Concept finally closed down, which that's a shame for those involved and who were part of it and are now looking for work. But it's kind of surprising that it's 2026 and that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, who knows? Like, what does shutdown mean, right? Does shutdown mean like they just like put in the paperwork? Because like if that's the case, then it could have been like a dead studio for however long, but now they're finally just like actually submitting the paperwork to shut it down officially. I don't know, but that's like my theory on it. Because
the other thing too is
it would just be crazy to think that like people were on the payroll for some reason that entire time.
Yeah. Well, because it was reorganized like a year or two ago.
Oh,
because
okay.
they're actually because they were a branch off of like Level 5 now.
Oh, okay.
And so that also raises questions of like, because we're kind of wondering where some Level 5's next games are at. And so when we're finding out about it, like a branch off is closing down, like a division of them, it's like, cool. How's Level 5 doing?
Which they were in their own like hot water a while, like not super long ago in the grand scheme of things. So, and yeah, you're right about Level 5 stuff not showing up. Where's that stuff at? But we'll get to that during
we'll
we'll get to that later. So for the rest of the news, we have quickies for the week. Yoshi and Balloon Kid have been added to Game Boy NSO. Tekken Season 3. We got a trailer. Kevin's really happy.
Finally, some good goddamn food.
So we're getting it's getting four new playable characters and a battle stage. In the late spring, we're getting Kunimitsu. In summer, we're getting Bob. And in fall, we're getting Roger Jr., the kangaroo.
Hell yeah.
And then in winter, we are getting a new character and stage, which will probably be announced at the Game Awards. So it's probably going to be a third-party collab that's announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah, or just a brand new original character design. Could be a thing they talk about at EVO.
They could talk about it at EVO. Cool. And then Killer In, the deceptive multiplayer game from Square Enix that was announced at Summer Games Fest and not Kingdom Hearts 4. Anyway, is launching into early access on February 13th. Neo 3 has a demo up on PlayStation and Steam. The reviews for that game have come out. It is incredibly well received, so that's cool. And then Horizon Hunter's Gathering, a new co-op action game from Guerrilla, is coming to PS5 and PC in the future.
We kind of knew that game was happening. Like, there was talk of doing like a Horizon multiplayer game, and it really doesn't feel like Sony has that much faith in it when the announcement is like a tweet. Just like some social posts and not, as part of a state of play or like I don't know if this is a sign of like Sony's just general trust in their multiplayer focus right now, or if, like it just doesn't feel like a great vote of confidence. We'll see. I don't know how many people were like looking for this title. It also like I don't know if you looked at the gameplay for this. It's very different, like visually and vibe style wise from like other Horizon titles.
Yes,
it definitely feels like they just kind of leveraged the IP to like make another like it's almost like there was another game already in development. They were like, look, what if we just Horizon it? Like it almost has that kind of vibe where I don't know. I don't go to multiplayer games, man. Like that's more your place.
Which a lot of good multiplayer game news this week for me, but that's not what this pod is for. So
yeah. Overwatch is back, kind of.
Overwatch is back, baby. K-pop Demon Hunters and Fortnite again. Let's go. Love it. But anyway, two more quickies. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake is set to launch on March 12th, and then a demo is going to release a week before that on March 5th. And then lastly, if you are in the LA area, Square Enix is holding a pop-up shop starting this month on February 13th to March 15th in Little Akihabara in LA. So
Yeah.
if you want to buy some stuff, it looks like it's only going to be Final Fantasy. Like it's going to be primarily be Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest again. No Kingdom Hearts recognition. So
There was like a item last time we went, I think, right? Like one thing. I forget what it was. Was there like a mug or something? I feel like there was like a KH item because you were like, oh, the one thing that's here.
Oh yeah, I think there were like maybe like some keychains or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, there wasn't a whole lot. I will say though that if I have like friends that a friend that goes and they have yeah, but are you gonna go on Friday?
Oh, like first day? Probably not.
Yeah, I kind of want someone to go first day because I still don't have the Kingdom Hearts final, and that's like one of the things that they would sell if they have it. And so I'm hoping, because the thing is like that's kind of annoying. Not to go on a huge tangent here, but like there'll be things that aren't available on their online store, and then they'll do a pop-up shop, and then it's available in person. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, I wanted to buy this online, and so, and I remember when we went there last time, they did have the vinyl. I just didn't have the money for it.
Yep. I
So I'm
remember
just
that.
like, hey, but now that it's sold out online, and people are trying to sell it for $400 on eBay, I'm like, hey, can you scoop that for me? And I'll get you the money. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's just ridiculous. But yeah. So anyway, that is the news for this week. So we're getting into what we've been playing for this week. I haven't really played much. I've been busy. But I have gotten to play more of Final Fantasy Remake on Switch 2. I got sent a code. Thank you, Square Enix, for sending me a code. And I really think it's the best game on the Switch 2 right now to just show like what the Switch 2 is capable of from a hardware standpoint. It's incredible. I'm playing this game. I'm like, how am I playing this on my Switch 2 right now?
Yeah.
And just in general, like, God, Final Fantasy VII Remake is so good. It plays so well. Like, I really think that, I don't know, I just feel like when it comes to these like major AAA games that are just like these really high quality, I don't know, like I just feel like that this game is just going to like hold up for such a long time. It's just such a well crafted game that I just I really like am trying not to replay this game in its entirety because I want to. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be playing that a little bit more when I have the time to do so, because it's really, really great. If you have a Switch 2, and even if you have played it on PS5, like I say, it's worth picking up on Switch 2 as well. It's really, really great.
Have you been mostly doing docked with it or handheld?
Handheld the entire time.
Yeah. And been
Yeah.
smooth the whole way?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like we saw it at a couple like preview event type stuff, and it was like there to check out like at least briefly. It was never the focus of why we were at the preview event, but like they'd be like, oh, also like if you want to check it out. And I remember from those little brief bits of checking it out there that like I was pretty impressed with how well like the early bits were holding up. But there's always that question of like, oh, is there going to be some like later scenes or some other parts of the game where maybe
That's
it'll
fair.
like chug a little bit. But yeah, sounds like at least for you so far, it's been pretty stable.
Yeah, that's fair. I do want to that's a big reason why I want to play like more of the game, to be like, okay, like once things get a little bit more intense when it comes to like combat or just like the amount of stuff on screen, like
Right, busting
how
out
does-
summons and all those animations.
yeah, how does that all come across? But so far it's been very, very good. And like I played it in handheld on purpose, like specifically because I never got to play it in handheld when we did get to try it out, like at PAX West. So I was just like, yep, I'm gonna play this in handheld and see what happens. And yeah, it looks incredibly good. Like that screenshot I shared in the Discord was from handheld.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, super, super great.
Awesome.
Kevin, have you played anything?
Not really. Not
Okay.
this past week. I've been catching up on some other stuff, but there are some games I need to start putting some more time into that we can't talk about yet.
Me too.
But I do want to. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll have some other stuff to talk about soon.
Yep.
Soon.
Yep. All right, now we're going to get into the topic of the show this week. There was a Nintendo Switch Partner Direct, and Kevin, he's got the whole lowdown for us. So I'm going to pass it off to you.
Yeah, I am curious. Did you actually find time to watch this yet, or are you just like okay? I didn't know because like I wasn't sure what time you got up this morning versus like when we need to start recording.
Yeah, so I got up. So alarm woke me up at 5:30, and I was like, absolutely not. I immediately was just like, no way, no. Because the thing is, like, the past few days, in general, back to back, I've been struggling to sleep or like stay asleep. So my sleep hasn't been super great.
Yeah.
And so, I actually laid down around like midnight, and like I'm normally like okay with like being short on sleep. That's fine. But like, yeah, I woke up and I was like, there's nothing that they could announce that would be like, oh, this was worth being up for.
And you were right.
Yeah.
There is some cool stuff. I'm a little warmer on this one than some other folks are, but even I'm kind of like, that was a show. We'll save some general thoughts for after. Let's go ahead and work our way through what the announcements were. I have my notes from watching it. That's basically in the order of everything announced. So we're just going to work our way through there. Some stuff we'll probably glance by because it's just not our thing. And then other stuff will, if we want to talk more about it, we will. So first off, the hard open, which we knew was going to be there because the devs accidentally said things publicly they shouldn't have. Orbitals. This was that game announced back at the Game Awards. Very Hazelight Studio coded title where it's like, oh, you guys played It Takes Two and you wanted to make like your own kind of thing with this, which great. I like that as a genre, and more people should be making it outside of it just being like that Joseph Ferris thing. It's the updated gameplay we saw looks great. This one, because back at the Game Awards it was just kind of a hype trailer, real quick, 30 seconds or so. This one we got to see a lot more extended gameplay. We got actual like narration over it, explaining some concepts and things. Again, art style I absolutely adore. One of the things they really highlighted in this is that as part of the level structure, you can each pick up different tools, and you'll use those to like figure out your solutions for how to get through the different platforming challenges. And there are ways that some of the tools can even kind of work in tandem that can lead to like interesting solutions or maybe out of the box thinking that you wouldn't initially, wouldn't be as obvious up front, is at least their pitch with it. I like everything I'm seeing in this game. One of the really cool Switch-specific things they did confirm is that it is going to support game share, so that way you can have just one copy of it, and you can play co-op with your buddy, who's also on their own Switch too, and that's great. Like the idea of doing like couch co-op on this is like still appealing, but that's a great like Switch 2 specific thing to push. Of like, oh yeah, just be in the same room. Each of you have your Switch 2. You're going to get a full screen experience. Awesome. Absolutely lovely looking game. We don't have a release date yet still. This was one of those ones where they were just like, yep, coming up 2026. I think they did they say summer? They might have. I need to double check that now. They might have given like a window, but I'm pretty sure it was just 26.
I think, yeah, I don't remember a window for Orbitals. But while you're confirming that, I will say, like, just up front, I think it was the best thing at this Direct. I think it was the best thing that we saw.
As far as like the game itself, yes. There's some new reveal stuff that I'm excited about, but as far as just like the quality of the game itself, yes.
Yeah, I think that just what we saw was really great. I think there's only one other game that was like close to it, but that's because we of just like known reputation at this point when we get to it. But like just in the sense of like this just looks like an absolute treat. This looks like an absolute delight in a way that I was hoping it would be, but wasn't, because I don't have like direct examples, but I'm pretty sure we can like we've like historically there's been like games or that come out that like have a really charming like one specific charming piece of it that makes you really excited for it, but then like everything else doesn't come together.
Yeah.
And I think that Orbitals like initially brought that thing to me. It's like, okay, you're doing the co-op couch co-op game, really great art style. Love the PC Engine influence, but like, does it have more than that?
Doesn't
and
have
I
the
think
sauce
that
as well. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that this showing and like learning more about like kind of like the story and stuff, I was like,
and seeing
this
it in action. Yeah.
super great. Can't
Yeah.
wait.
I was right. They did give at least the window of summer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Which is still kind of a loose thing, but that is, sooner than winter. Yeah, I absolutely love the look of this game. I just want to play it while blaring some City Pop over some speakers. It's going to be a great time.
Yep.
All into it. After that, the next announcement is one of the other things that was actually a highlight for me, and this is definitely a more niche thing, but I got excited. We are getting a brand new Paranormal Site.
Yes.
Paranormal Site, The Mermaid's Curse. If you're not familiar with this was a visual novel that Square Enix released a few years ago. And that was kind of during the era that like Square Enix was experimenting a little bit. We got a couple like random small releases that were, not like their conventional type thing. And they've been really backing off on that, and that led to the feeling that like maybe that was going to be a one-off and just that franchise is done. But no, we're getting a brand new one. And not only that, but it looks like they kind of invested a little heavier into it. The bits of gameplay we saw, the visual style and everything just looks like have a little more budget to work with. Just kind of seeing the environments and stuff in action. Similar to the original one, this is a visual novel, but with like some puzzle-solving elements included. Definitely a visual novel first, but there is going to be those like little bits of things where you need to scratch your brain a bit and think about what you're supposed to do and what the right solution is. Yeah, absolutely loved the first one. Did not expect to get another one ever again. So this is a pleasant surprise, and hopefully, if this one does well too, maybe this is just a new franchise Square Enix invests in every now and then. I'd love that. This one did get a hard release date, which is quite soon, February 19th, 2 weeks away. So
Yeah, I feel like when they announced the first game, it was like either like it's out now or like it's coming out very soon after.
I think it was a short window as well. Yeah, I don't think it was a shadow drop, but it was like a quick like, hey, here's this game. By the way, buy it next week. Like, just here it is.
I think, and some people may hate me for this, but I think this is a great game series that limited run could just be like, hey, let's get these on physical, because that's like the one thing that like kind of stopped me from playing Paranormal Site. I was like, maybe we'll get a physical at some point, and then it just didn't happen. But now that we're getting more with like limited runs, doing more with Square. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
So
I will say I was late to the first one for that same reason, and I ended up checking it out because it went pretty cheap on a Steam sale, and I was like, all right, like let's dive in. I never got around to it, and I really enjoyed it. Assuming this ends up being the same similar treatment where it is just like digital only forever, probably end up having a home for it on Steam as well. Although Switch 2 is a lot more powerful now, so probably a good place to grab it as well. But like you, I probably would be stubborn and be like, I'll grab it when the physical drops. Then again, frickin' monkey's paw these days, that's just gonna be a game key card anyways.
yeah.
Not if they did a limited run specific thing, obviously.
Yeah, they did limited run, yeah.
After Paranormal Site, we got one that I don't have a lot to say about, which is Captain Tsubasa 2 World Fighters.
Anime soccer game.
Looks great. This looks better than the other soccer game they show later. That's all I got to say about that, really. Yeah. I will say, actually, my only other side tangent is my Street Fighter brain was just like, that's the title of the second Street Fighter, because it was Street Fighter 2 World Warriors. So it's just like,
funny.
You're doing the same. I don't know if that's an intentional nod or not, obviously, because it's also fighters instead of warriors, but hey, yeah, looks neat. Not my place. Next game after that, they started highlighting that the next couple of games were going to be cross-gen focused titles. The first of which is Tokyo Scramble. This is a survival horror game where you are in like a ruined underground part of Tokyo, hiding from Xenos, which are by no means dinosaurs with a Z, but that's what they are. They're like raptors that you have to hide from. I think the most interesting thing to highlight with this game is the bizarre multiplayer pitch, which is that you could do game share with up to 3 other people to have 4-player co-op. But that's not like you each control a person. That's you're all controlling the same person. And part of the gimmick with that is like, oh, because it's survival horror, you each have your own independent camera control, so you can kind of look around, and maybe one of you catches something, and like you have more awareness of your surroundings. But the idea of 4-player co-op controlling a single person sounds like some absolute madness to me.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not a horror guy. So this did absolutely nothing for me. But it looks neat. One thing I will say, I think one thing that I really got out of this direct is that like people are really implementing that game share feature.
Yeah.
Like, very, very quickly, like just seeing like a lot of games like up and you can game share and you can game share. And it's like, cool.
Good.
I like how you're implementing this so that, more people can play. Maybe, not everyone needs to have a copy of this game, that type of deal.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that was even your pitch for why you thought Mario Kart 7 deserved more love, because it's like, or not Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart DS, because it's like game share, like download play, like we're all just, one person has their copy and we can do multiplayer, awesome. And like, the general focus on handhelds being for local multiplayer is definitely a thing that's died off a bit. I'm very glad that with Switch 2, that's a feature they seem to be pushing a lot more. And honestly, I think is the bigger win, new feature-wise, versus like, cool mouse style controls. Like the game share is great, and that is cool to see highlighted.
Now
this game does.
I was gonna say, now let's bring back link cables.
Oh yeah, get analog with it. This is another game that does have a confirmed release date that is very soon, February 11th. So it's like less than a week away. Then Valheim. I don't know much about Valheim. It's an established big survival sim game. It's coming to Switch as well this year. Switch 2. Cool.
Okay.
Yep. I don't got much there. I know some people who really liked it when it first came out. I have no idea if it's like still relevant. It's coming to more platforms though, so neato. Quick one, but a cool one. Hollow Knight is getting a Switch 2 edition. Shadow dropped today. Free upgrade if you already have it on the original system. So like, cool. Just get that better performance out of the Switch 2.
Hope it gets physical.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably not. But
fan gamer, so.
Yeah, I just feel like it's one of those things where it's like, they'll probably just lean on you can do a free upgrade with like your physical on the original. I don't know. It's like
that's
it's
fair.
Like a performance
it's a free update. Yeah, it's a free update. That's fair.
Yeah, it's like it's a performance unlock more than anything. It's not like they added new features or like anything like that. Yeah.
True.
And that was a shadow drop. I forget if I mentioned that already. eFootball Kickoff. This was the other soccer game. Sure looks like a soccer game.
Great name.
Yeah. I mean, it's more realistic, I guess, than the Tsubasa one, which I guess could maybe be a selling point to some folks. It seems a little more focused on like the kind of like team simulation aspects too, where it's like, oh, like form your club and like here's your, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, moving on.
Really quick breaking news here.
Okay.
Nothing super like relevant to the pod, but not super breaking. But
okay.
Dosa Divas, One Last Meal, has a release date of April 14th.
Awesome. So like 2 months away.
Yeah, cannot wait to play it. Continue.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I missed out on playing some of the early previews, but I know you were able to check it out. And
There's also a demo on Steam right now.
Oh, well then I will check that out soon. Not right now because we're recording, but like later.
Yeah.
Adventures of Elliot. We got another look at that one. I think one of the cool new things, at least, was that like we knew concept-wise this game was going to have time travel. Like they talked about it in the first trailer, and like if you played the demo, they kind of allude to like you're going to that's like kind of at the very end of the demo is the thing you would unlock. They actually showed it in action a little bit, where it's like, oh, here's like one of the main cities, and during this era, it looks like this, and during this era, it looks like this. So just a nice little like kind of touch on that. We saw a bit more combat in action, where you could get some other weapons. Like there's a brief shot with a hammer that like summoned down lightning bolts. Cool stuff. Biggest thing is it does have an official release date now. A little further away than I thought it was going to be, but still not like super far away. June 18th. So we've got like 4 months to wait. But cool. Excited for that.
Yeah.
Not a part of the direct, but right after we did also get the reveal of a collector's edition. Sadly, this is another one of those situations where it is a Square Enix store exclusive, so you are paying that premium for shipping and not launch day delivery. It looks okay. Square Enix collector's editions have been kind of hit and miss, and this is one where it's like the product itself looks fine, like the statue, but they're asking $230 for this, on top of having to pay for their shipping and for tax on top of that. So that's like almost $300, and I don't know. It is going to be a game key card as well for Switch 2. This is a multi-platform release though, so you can grab it elsewhere as well.
Yeah, it's a no from me, dog.
It's rough.
Collector's edition is pretty underwhelming.
For the price,
I think it's just kind of underwhelming in general. I'm not super crazy about what's included in there.
Because it's like a statue and CDs, right?
Yeah, so it's like it's like a statue with the fairy with Faye on it. And then, like, the clock with the door and everything.
Yep.
And then a soundtrack. That's it.
That's fine. I prefer that. We've had this talk about collector's editions, though.
But that's only 2 items.
Yeah. Good. I don't need collector's editions to have 17 things. Just give me 2 things that are meaningful. But again, for the price, it's ridiculous. Like, this is a like $120 collector's edition, not a $230 one.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That we can agree on. Yes. Yes. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Like, yeah. If it was $100, I'd be like, cool. Like, that makes sense based off of what's here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other cool surprises today. This is definitely a bit more of like a retro thing, but awesome shadow drop. Bomberman collection. Bunch of the old Bomberman games, including regional selections, so you can do like, oh, you're playing this old version, but you're playing the Japanese version, you're playing the American version, etc. That is a shadow drop. It released not only on Switch, but also on a bunch of other platforms today. I think it actually launched on the other platforms sooner, and Switch is either up now or will be up very shortly. By the time this podcast is live, I'm sure it'll be up. But yeah, that was just a pleasant surprise. I'm not a huge Bomberman guy, but I know some people who absolutely adore the franchise and kept up with it. So that's just a really cool surprise for folks today. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We already talked a little bit about Remake. Rebirth is officially confirmed for Switch 2. It has a release date of June 3rd. Yeah, as you said, Remake ran well. Hopefully Rebirth is getting a similar treatment and is optimized for the platform. One interesting extra bit of news for this one that was not at the Direct, but was announced right after or alongside, is the physical editions of this for Switch 2, which are game key, are also going to be coming with a Magic the Gathering card. It is a special treatment of Zack Fair that uses, I think as you were mentioning, it was one of his Ultimania arts.
The Rebirth Ultimania art, yeah.
Yeah, which is Tetsuya Nomura art. So that completes a little trio of Sephiroth had a Nomura art in the main set. Cloud had a Nomura art that was like a tournament giveaway that is very expensive to buy secondhand. And Zack is now getting that treatment as well if you buy a physical copy. They've just said it's going to be included in the box and will be like a limited time thing. So probably just like the first big production wave. But it's not like a store exclusive. You just need to buy the game as soon as possible when it drops. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to like mark the packages or anything so people know, but that's going to be a bonus.
They did for the booster pack, so they probably will for this.
Makes sense. Cam, how many of those are you going to buy?
If it's a game key card... Oh, well, I'm not going to buy the game because it's a game key card, but like the single, I'll buy one.
Yeah,
because
I'm curious
the card in and of itself is not super great.
Sure.
Which is sad, which sucks because Sephiroth and Cloud are like really good cards, like respectively. But yeah, no, I'll buy the one, maybe two, depending on how much they're going for.
Okay. I just, I wasn't sure with it being Nomura art if that was just like got a cop.
Oh yeah, like I mean, like I want like the Cloud Ultimania, but that's like $2,000. Like unless I have like some really fuck you money, and there's no way I'm buying that card.
Next up, I actually don't know if we knew this yet or not, but Pragmata got confirmed for Switch 2.
Yes, we knew that.
Yeah, we did. Okay. But they showed it off. It was kind of weird in that like they did a very kind of like introduction to gameplay kind of thing with it, where they're like, "Oh, in this game you'll be doing this and this," and it's like, I get not everyone pays attention to like every trailer and every preview and et cetera, et cetera. I feel like there's been enough stuff about Pragmata out where that was just kind of like, yeah, man,
We
I
know.
know about this game.
We know, yeah.
Yeah, it just felt very odd. So yeah, but just kind of reconfirming games happening. The biggest thing really is that it got a demo drop for Switch 2 today. So I don't know if it's up just yet, but it is available today. Cool.
Which, that's the only console that the demo's on, I believe, because I'm pretty sure the Pragmata one was, like, previously was just on Steam.
I believe so. I don't think they got a demo on Xbox or PlayStation.
No,
I think it
yeah.
was a Steam only one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So neat. I did see a few. I haven't checked. I'm now realizing it is up because I did see a few people I follow talking about checking it out. I think it has some motion control integration, which makes sense for like Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then just a reminder that game does come out April 24th. Turok Origins, a game that apparently we did know about and I just completely forgot about because
We did know about that, yeah.
the Turok franchise is one of those ones where it's like, man, growing up I thought that was the coolest game and they keep trying to do stuff with it and it doesn't always work out. It usually doesn't. But Turok Origins, we got to see some more gameplay of. Fall 2026 release, coming to Switch 2. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I actually liked what I saw of that.
For sure.
I was
It's
like,
one of those things where it's like, I've been burned so many times, I'm like, okay, like, we'll see if this one's good, you know?
yeah, no, I really liked what I saw. Like, the shooting, like, the movement, like, looked good. The main thing is, like, I hope there's no giant spiders. That was, like,
Right.
the thing. I was like, that's gonna be the deal breaker. So...
Yep. Cam, did you ever play Tokyo Xanadu?
No, I actually am going to try and push that to be our next Campfire catalog once we're
Okay.
caught up.
Yeah. Well, relevant to that, we did get the announcement of Kyoto Xanadu, which, you know, part of the same series. It doesn't seem like they're pitching it as any kind of direct continuation or anything. It's just another game in the franchise. This is coming from Falcom, so, you know, Trails fans, East fans, pay attention. This does not have a locked-in release date yet, but summer 2026. You know, 2D platformer, dungeon, action adventure with boss battles. Looks like there is kind of not a romance, but like a friendship mechanic kind of deal where you talk to other students and build up those relationships. Cool. I've heard good things about Tokyo Xanadu. It's been on my, like, I should check this out at some point kind of list. You know, not a hard backlog, but like a be aware of one. And this has certainly kicked that up more, where it's like, oh, I really should maybe check out Tokyo Xanadu, because now we're getting another.
Yeah. Like, again, I haven't played Tokyo Xanadu, and like, now that this is coming out in the summer, I'm definitely gonna knock it out. Like, it's basically top of backlog now. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so I definitely want to play it as soon as I can. Something about that game just felt off to me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like, it just, in certain, like, especially in it was really the combat. The combat was
Yeah.
just like, this feels like, it doesn't feel like in depth enough. Like, it doesn't
Sure.
feel like it looks simple
Press
in a
X till things
way.
die.
Yeah, and like, granted, like, in the East series, even in the modern games, like, the combat isn't super engaging.
Usually just pick a weapon that has a bonus damage and call it a day. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just like, I really hope that Xanadu isn't just more of that. Like, I hope it has, like, its more unique system, especially because it's been a long time since we've gotten a new Xanadu game. Like, this is like, I mean, it might be connected. It's probably not. It's probably like its own thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
Oh,
yeah, give the opportunity to, like, kind of do a soft reset here and, like,
yeah.
introduce something engaging with the combat.
Yeah, because that is part of the pitch, that it's an alternate universe, because the idea is that in this version of the world, Kyoto is the capital and not Tokyo.
Interesting.
But like that could still, just because they're alternate dimensions doesn't mean it can't link back to the first one somehow. There are other franchises that have done that concept, so we'll see. In other port news, Digimon Story Time Stranger is coming to both the original Switch and Switch 2 on July 10th. So if you've been waiting to check that game out, if you want it to come to Nintendo, there it is. You got your announcement.
Pretty good game from what I played.
Yeah. Another port news, but a little more interesting. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is coming to Switch 2 on July 9th. But this is not the regular relink. This is a bigger release called Endless Ragnarok. This is going to be new content that is going to come to other platforms as well. That'll be a paid DLC like upgrade. But that's just how it's going to launch naturally for Switch 2, is just with that all together. I played Relink a little bit. It's not the kind of genre that I'm into like sticking to long term. It's almost vaguely a Monster Hunter game, and that's kind of like a boss rush co-op game. It was a very shiny game. You know, I know some folks who are super into it and swear by it, and it's like one of their favorite games. I got a buddy who I know is probably losing his mind that he's now going to get more content with it to play with. But yeah, so that's coming out July 9th.
Yeah, like, so what's interesting to me about that game is because I also played it, when it came out, and I checked it out for a bit, and I think that, and people were like speaking so highly on it, and I was just like, what am I missing here? It seems like it's one of those games where you have to kind of go through the story first, and that's when the game actually begins. You know what I mean?
The end game is the actual game. The story is effectively one long tutorial, and then yeah, which is where I brought, like, that's kind of why I bring in that Monster Hunter comparison, where it's like, yeah, there's a story and you're gonna play through it, but ultimately the real appeal of this game is like when you're past that point and now you're just in the end game loop and you are doing boss fights over and over and over again. Which that is one thing different, is that, Monster Hunter obviously is also about actually tracking and finding the monsters, and there's that element to it. This is just like, time to fight the boss.
And so there I do want to go back and like see what that game is really about, because again, it was like, I think at the time it became like the best-selling JRPG on Steam. Like, it was a really popular game, so it's like, there's got to be a reason for that, and so I do want to go back to it. I do want to check it out and see what the situation is, and it's cool that it's getting more content, because I was curious, like, there's got to be, like, with how successful this game is, there's like, they gotta like
do
bounce
more with it.
Yeah, like jump on that opportunity. So I think it took a little bit long, but like surely there's gonna be people that like, we're so back.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a thing where they lightly planned additional content, and then when it was as successful as it was, they were like, oh, okay, hold on, we're gonna do something with this. Like, we're gonna makes sense. Monster Hunter Stories 3, a game that we've never seen a trailer for before, as opposed to the 7 other times we have. Another trailer today. March 13th release day. The biggest thing, demo drop as well. So cool. Check out the demo. Game I'm looking forward to, but like not really anything that crazy new here.
Yeah, like I'm at the point now where like I don't see us reviewing that game. Sadly, like we wanted to make it happen. But I'm kind of relieved, just because I still really kind of want to play through that series from the beginning,
right?
And just see the evolution, because the jump from 2 to 3 is significant, at least from a like presentation standpoint.
Well,
so,
even tonally, because like 1 and 2 were very like, this is Monster Hunter but Pokemon, like you know what I mean. Like there was very much like you're playing a younger kid, and there's like kind of that like a little bit more wistfulness to it. This is like, yes, it's Monster Hunter Stories 3, and yes, it has the combat that is like that hybrid, but also you're a grown-ass man with like, much larger, it just seems like the overall tone and scope is much more serious in comparison to like what 1 and 2 were.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, I just like, that's a series that I really want to get to, but like knowing that I can hold off on it is also a little bit relieving. So
cool. Then they had like kind of a retro announcement window where there are these games they've had before, where they have like archive releases that come from third parties that are just individual ones. Showed off a bunch of new ones coming from a company called Hamster. The big kind of shadow drop release one is the original Ninja Gaiden 2. Not 3D Ninja Gaiden 2, like OG side-scrolling platformer Ninja Gaiden 2. That is available today along with, I think, like a snowboard game. And they just kind of tease some other ones coming out in the future. Then we get to the lightning round montage where we just get trailers, 10 seconds long each, back to back, music track playing underneath them, not a lot of context past that. Shouting out some of the bigger things here. Scott Pilgrim getting a release date for March 3rd for EX. So if you like the Scott Pilgrim beat 'em ups, you're excited for a new one. That's coming out pretty soon. Reanimal, WWE 2K26, Star Trek Voyager Across the Universe, Disney Dreamlight Valley is making its way to Switch 2, PGA Tour 2K25, get your golfing in, Goat Simulator 3, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, which I'm surprised by because I think the dev for that went under. So I'm wondering if just whoever has like the production rights is just like, cool, like we're releasing a port. Because I remember they were in deep trouble after their third game. It's a cool little series. And then Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn edition releasing as well for Switch 2. Two that I skipped over real quick because I want to talk a little bit more about them. A new Culticept game, which I don't know a ton about, but they're like card RPGs. That looks kind of interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Culticept Saga. This new one is called Culticept... let me double check actually, because now I'm like, did I write the wrong thing down? No, it is called Culticept Begins. The reason why I hesitated on that is because the other game that we're going to talk about also has Begins in its title. Yeah, brand new Culticept title. I dig the art style. I'm not super huge on like card mechanics in RPGs, but it's a thing I'll check out. Visually, looks great. The other one that's interesting is... Another Eden Begins. Cam, do you know anything about Another Eden?
I've heard of the name.
Yeah. So Another Eden is a gacha game that came out on mobile.
Okay.
And while it is a gacha title, it's very focused on like, no, this is a single-player RPG. You're not doing your daily check-in grind and joining guilds and like... whatever. It's not really pushing that. Like, gacha is how you get more characters, but it's ultimately treated like a single-player RPG. And it's a game made by a lot of Chrono talent. The scenario writer is Masato Kato, who was the kind of project lead for Chrono Cross and was one of the writers for Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
And because of that, Another Eden did a lot of Chrono Trigger homages as well as a lot of actual straight-up collaborations. Like, they did a Chrono Cross collaboration when, like, the remaster was coming out. There's literally a samurai frog that is definitely, a nod to Frog in Chrono Trigger. It's not entirely clear what this new game is because it was part of a montage, and since then the devs have come out and kind of talked about it a little bit, but they're still being a little vague. It seems like it might be a re-release that is like a gacha-less, just single-player take on the game. The dev has also announced that like they've spun off and that they're their own studio now, and this is their first title coming out. So very interesting what this kind of might mean for the future of that team.
Yeah.
We both have been enjoying Octopath Traveler 0, which is a similar situation where they took Champions of the Continent and turned it into a single-player game.
Yeah.
This sounds like another game where it's like, oh, cool, like, we can experience this now and not have the gacha stuff. I checked it out way back when. Like, this game's been around for a minute now, and I remember thinking it was neat back when it first released, but just the gacha aspect and being a mobile game, I just didn't end up sticking with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Part of the pitch too on their Steam page, because they do have a Steam page up for it, is saying that it's going to be focused on New Game Plus with 10 different endings, which is definitely like a Chrono Trigger nod, where it's like, yeah, like play this multiple times, like get all our different endings, like see what's up. So interesting title that's happening. I want to definitely see more about this one.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I definitely want to see more of it, knowing like that background information.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you didn't know anything else about it, you'd see it in the montage and just be kind of like, all right, that's a game.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
And if you know what Another Eden is, you're like, wait, what? Because
Yeah.
they did not announce this anywhere otherwise. Like, this was not like a thing we already knew about. Like, this got announced today, basically. And it was part of a montage. So, like, that just feels very, like, shouldn't there be, like, I don't know, any extra information at this direct about
Yeah.
this? It's like, I get why you, like, you know, swung by frickin' Goat Simulator 3 and Disney Dreamlight Valley. I know what those are, but, like, can we talk about that for a second? After the montage, we get to see another game that we've never seen a trailer for before, and that's Resident Evil Requiem. Cool. Coming out February 27th, which we already knew. Same day as getting 7 and 8 on Switch 2 as well. We saw a little bit more Leon gameplay. Awesome. The kind of new info excuse, sort of, is they showed off the Pro Controller again, which is certainly one of the Pro Controller designs of all time. And they also revealed Leon and Grace amiibo, which look fine. They're not one of the fancier looking amiibo. Like, they're kind of just standing and, like, they're
It's
very
Leon
realistic.
and Grace.
Yeah, realistic proportions. Definitely, like, the place where amiibo tend to struggle a little bit is, like, finer face details on not big-headed characters, and you can really see that on these ones, where it's just like, yeah, that's Leon and Grace. Those will come out this summer. Cool. And then the closer, the big closing stinger for this show, Bethesda. Todd Howard comes out, and they announce a bunch of Bethesda ports making their way to Switch 2, including Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition coming out February 24th, Indiana Jones coming out May 12th, which there's an interesting extra thing about, we'll talk in a bit, and Oblivion Remastered coming out sometime this year. Cool. Like, look, don't get me wrong, Bethesda's a big company, that's a big partner, I understand wanting to highlight it a little bit. No one is surprised that these games are making their way to Switch 2. Like, you know, Xbox is not shy about sharing IPs anymore. And to be the thing you close on is just like, great. I guess.
Yep.
Weird choice.
Yep.
Weird choice. The one thing I do want to highlight a little extra that's interesting, and we'll learn more about, is alongside revealing these at the Direct, they showed off the physical copy of Indiana Jones on socials, saying that it is not a game key card and it's complete on card. Which, as we've both established, we are fans of, and like we want to praise whenever that happens, but that is so fucking funny. Coming from this game specifically, for a couple reasons. One, Xbox in general, awful at physical. That's just how it's been. Even on their own platform, they've been releasing their physical exclusives as just boxes with codes in them. Like, you can't get a disc for some of their first-party games on their own platforms. And on top of that, Indiana Jones specifically is a game that didn't launch with a complete physical on Xbox or PlayStation. It was like a 5 gig disc, and you had to download the game still. So the fact that this game is pushing that it's an all-on-cart release is like, what? Like, why here? I also don't know how they're doing that, because Indiana Jones on other platforms is like over 100 gigs. And obviously, being the Switch 2 edition, it's going to have lower res textures that they're going to use upscaling for. It's not going to be as big as that. But, like, are they getting that under 64? Is there a larger card size that we don't know about now? Like, it's just a very bizarre announcement for so many reasons.
Yeah, I mean, you said everything. Like, it's a very bizarre choice. I don't know why they're doing it. I wish that they just put everything on cart. It's just that easy. So do it. Yeah. Sucks.
It's
Weird.
weird. It's weird. And I mean, like, it's Xbox, Microsoft, Bethesda money. They got the money to lose on making, like, more expensive physicals. It's just, why this one and not, like, your own platform or PlayStation? Like, when you initially released the... It's just so weird. So bizarre.
Yeah, it might be the portability aspect of it. It might be...
Not wanting to blow up people's, like, SD cards, I guess. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. Weird stuff. So that was everything we got at this Direct. And, it's a very fine Direct. I feel like I'm walking away thinking that was fine, and that's mostly because I'm aware enough of some of these specific more niche titles to be excited about. Like I'm like, oh, Paranormal Sight 2, awesome. Like, didn't think that was going to happen. Kyoto Xanadu, heard great things about Tokyo Xanadu. Great to see that show up here as well. Again, like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink being an actual bigger re-release and not just like a straight up port. Like there is more stuff happening with this release. Like there are very specific things that I'm like, oh, that does sound cool. And as we said, Orbitals, probably the best all around looking game at this show, and that was what they opened with. But otherwise, like very specific niche titles, like even by like I usually celebrate when there's like specific audiences for games. This feels like that to the max. And then the rest of the show is either catch up on ports, which I get we're going to have time dedicated to, right? Like, you're going to talk about FF7 Rebirth coming to Switch, obviously. I think the thing that actually dragged for me more was just how many trailers were for stuff we've already seen a lot.
Yep.
Like, I love Capcom, and I'm excited for everything that they're releasing this year, but I did not need another Resident Evil Requiem trailer. I did not need another Monster Hunter Stories 3 trailer. I don't need another Pragmata trailer. And, like, yes, those had pieces of news with them, like the demo drops. It's just, like, that's, like, our strong thing, is, like, seeing those again, and then Bethesda. Like, it just really, I think, ended on the wrong note for people to walk away feeling, like, satisfied with this one.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because I do think that... this is a weird situation where like Nintendo kind of dug their own grave here on something that like they couldn't have really possibly predicted or like really thought about this far ahead when they started doing these partner showcases versus their normal directs where they focus on first party. But like we're like the Switch 2 is in this weird place where like there's a lot of games that couldn't run on the Switch that now can run on the Switch 2. And so obviously they want to promote those things because that was like probably the biggest criticism of the Switch was like, I can't play this, I can't play that type of thing. Now that's not really an issue for like, such a wide catalog of games now that like the Switch 2 automatically is the best console library of all time because it's inheriting the Switch library. And now it's just able to add on to that.
Yeah.
And so like the idea of when it comes to a partner showcase is like, yes, we want to show off like some third party stuff, but also we really want to show people like from a business standpoint, right? Like that these other games are going to be on Switch 2 now, like that you've really wanted. Like, yeah, Skyrim is like one instance where it's like, okay, you're just like giving us Skyrim again, but like Oblivion Remastered and Indiana Jones and like these Capcom games that definitely would not have been able to be on the Switch. It's just one of those things where like, yeah, it's just kind of like this weird place that partner showcases are going to lie on for a while.
Yeah. And even regular ones a bit.
And yeah, and maybe even like regular ones a bit, but I think people give Nintendo more grace there because they are first party games.
Yeah.
Right? Like no one's going to complain about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 coming to Switch 2. Outside like in the sense of like the general idea of a first party game coming to Switch 2. They might be like that because like, oh, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 sucks, but like not in the sense of like, yeah, we're getting a new like, an old Nintendo game that's getting a much needed upgrade.
I think some of that is balanced though too, because like if they did a Nintendo Direct that was like marketed as a straight up Nintendo Direct and then it was nonstop nothing but Switch 2 edition confirmations, people would be kind of like, what the hell was that? you know? Like you'd still have, and I think that's a bit of an issue here, right? Is that like, I understand we're going to get port announcements. And like I said, the port announcements weren't even the thing that bothered me here as much as it was like, Capcom, guys, I know this is coming out. I think it's the overall balance, right? Of just like, again, we did get some brand new announcements, and there are a couple specific ones that I'm very excited about. But I think that the general balance here of like new to old and how a lot of it was presented and what specific audiences are being served is just really specific and not enough to balance it all out in my mind.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, again, really, it was just like, for me, there was like maybe five or six games throughout that entire direct that like interested me, and maybe that like to most people that seems like a reasonable amount. And I think it would have been if like a good portion of like the overall pool weren't games we, like you said, we already knew about, we've seen several times, and like ports of things. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play Pragmata. I'm super excited for it. Yeah, I'm gonna play Monster Hunter Stories 3 eventually. Like, we're definitely probably gonna get a similar treatment with Onimusha once that gets closer and has like a solid release date. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen that yet. um, but it also, but you know, I'm just trying to think of it more from a business standpoint, where it's just like, yeah, Capcom is like really putting a lot of their chips in on the Switch 2, and they're like, hey, like we want people to know that these games are going here, and Nintendo, you know, has that relationship with them, and because like in the grand scheme of things, like there's just like not that like. I don't think that there's like not that many like major third party developers in the same scope as like Capcom or Square Enix anymore. And so it's just like, yeah, like they're gonna want to work with Nintendo, who has the new console where like people are going to need games to buy. Yeah, so it's like, and I'm not saying that you don't recognize those things. It's just like saying like
Yeah.
that's the way. Like I'm trying to like remove my bias from it
Sure.
a bit, and talk about like both like from the personal side and also from like the big picture
Yeah.
side of things.
And like I would agree with you on that aspect, except for the fact that like those relationships have been established. You know what I mean? Like again, like we've specifically
Yes.
seen Monster Hunter Stories at like what now, like 2, if not 3 previous directs. Resident Evil 9, true. This is only the second time because the last time was just at the last major direct in September. So like it's been a minute, but it's still.
But
just, like,
we
I feel
see
like
things outside of the direct about Resident Evil.
Right.
So like it's
And-
like
and
things
that
that like
relationship
it's not
is, yeah.
particularly Nintendo's fault. It's
Sure.
more just Capcom has been like releasing all this information from like different things. So like
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah. I think a part of it too is like, again, like I think ports actually are like a fine thing to focus on. And if anything, there were a lot of ports people were hoping to get updates on that like didn't show up.
Or
yet, right?
announcements. Like
Or
we didn't-
announcements.
Expedition 33, nothing.
Yep. Metaphor, that's one I know a lot of people
Oh,
are waiting
yeah,
on. That
Metaphor,
didn't happen. Like Elden Ring, which was supposed to be out by now and then got delayed because early reports of the performance were pretty rough, and like there's been
Which
no
I mean,
word since.
that's fine to me, just because like that game was rough, dog. Like
Yeah,
just watching
but, like,
people play that game, I was like, oof.
Yeah, but I think that's why people wanted like maybe a reconfirmation of like, hey, shit is fixed and now it's on its way, like April whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think people were hoping to get like a reconfirmation, and which obviously didn't happen. And then other stuff that's like new games that we know about and we're maybe hoping to see updates on. Like again, FromSoft, Duskbloods. A lot of people thought that was going to maybe show up at the show and didn't happen.
Yeah, that's like, and that's enough because we were talking because, you know, Krista from Kit and Krista did a poll on Twitter about like, what do you consider like it was like partner. Well, what was the exact question?
Their
It was
wording
something-
is intelligent systems considered a partner.
yes, intelligence system considered a partner.
Yeah.
And I think the answer is obviously no, even though they're not officially owned by Nintendo, but they
Right.
make are Nintendo games, and like first party Nintendo games. But then when I think about the Duskbloods, it's like the one instance where I'm like, would that show up at a partner direct, or would that show up at a normal Nintendo direct?
I would say it can show up at either, because if it can be at a partner direct, it can be at a regular. But I would say it could show up at a partner direct, and I think the best game to give an example of this is the last time we had a partner direct, Hyrule Warriors was there. That's a first party IP, but
Right.
because it was
Wow.
being made by Omega Force, it was considered a partner. And so I agree with you in that I don't think Intelligent Systems is treated that way, because even though they are a partner in the sense they're not owned by Nintendo, they are pretty much by association treated as a first party company. Like, you could call them a second party maybe if you want to use that term, but it's like, yeah, they're the people that make Fire Emblem and Paper Mario. They make Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And I don't think Nintendo would ever treat them as a partner, like, by having them at a partner direct. But Dustbloods, absolutely, I think, like, could have that kind of show up for that way. Level 5 in general, like, what's been going on with Professor Layton and Deca Police? Like, we've been kind of waiting on updates and, like, you know, actually seeing these games more, and they didn't show up at all to this one. There's just, like, there's enough stuff that I think people were hoping to get updates on or see show up here that just didn't, that really kind of, like, rubbed it in a little more with what stuff we did get.
Yeah, it's tough because I just like, because in general I feel like we're just like, even though we got this partner direct, that's great. We need a first party direct, like, you know, like we got some updates from Nintendo on a bunch of different games, getting Switch 2 updates or getting like notable updates, you know, during this time, like. I hope that isn't them being like, hey, there's not a Nintendo Direct coming anytime soon, so, like, here's this.
Yeah.
Because initially I thought, like, oh, because there's already murmurs, right? Like, oh, they're getting this stuff out of the way because they're not going to have room, or they're not going to mention it during the Direct. But then it's a partner Direct. It's like, okay. But, like, what about Fire Emblem? What about this Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition? Like, it seems like that just based off of the announcements and stuff. And then we just, you know, this past like last week we got the announcement for Super Mario Bros. Wonder for Nintendo, like the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It's just like, okay, like, when are we getting a direct? Like, we need a direct. And it's like, are we really gonna wait until like June, you know, during that time when we like, are we really waiting that long?
Yeah, that's the worry, right? Because like June, we're gonna get one. There's always a summer one. There's always a June one. It is the, you know, ghost of E3 past season, where that's gonna happen. And so that raises the question, right, of like, if we got a partner direct in February, and they haven't talked about a traditional direct yet, is that all there is? Which I don't think it necessarily is. Now, if we get through like the midpoint of March and there still isn't a word, then it's like, okay, maybe we're not getting a direct until June. But that's a month and a half away, right? Like, there is time. I don't think we're going to get a direct like next week, but I don't think it's like, you know, oh, hard confirmed, no direct till June because we had a partner direct in February. Like, I don't think that's the case. I think that's a little doom and gloom, but like, I do understand where that worry is coming from. And they don't have to do all their announcements through directs, like, as we've seen. You know, they did the Super Mario Wonder stuff. They did the Donkey Kong Return stuff as just like a random announcement. But it sure would be cool to have a proper full direct, especially because some of the games we're talking about, right, are games that we think should be sooner than later. Like Fire Emblem, you know, if I was just guessing from when it was initially released, I would have told you it had been like a Q1, Q2 26 game. Like, I don't see that being like a holiday release.
Yeah.
But if there's no direct till June, like, maybe it is later. You know, I don't know. A lot of questions being left hanging. And some of that I think is just ultimately we're not going to know until Nintendo says something or whoever established leaker leaks that we're getting a direct. Like, that's just what it's going to be right now. I don't want to like worry too much in that way, because I think some people get a little too into the like, oh man, like Nintendo's like just fucked this year because I can't believe we only got a partner direct in February and now we're not going to hear anything till June. Like, I don't. Calm down, take a breath. There's still time. There are no hard rules about like, because a partner direct is right now, they can't do anything else till June. We just kind of have to see what's up, you know? Passage of time.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about regarding the direct?
I think I hit just about everything. Were there any other like clarifications or extra bit of news that came out. I know there were a couple things that like the Japanese direct that we didn't have for us that are still international, but I didn't really like look too in depth on those.
I didn't see anything because you covered the amiibos. That was like
Yeah.
one of the big things was the Resident Evil amiibos. But I didn't see anything else in particular. I can do a little. I can do a little scroll across Wario 64's Twitter to see if there's any. Yeah, just to see if anything has come up. We know that Adventures of Elliot is a game key card. Sadly, we know that Tales of Arise is a game key card. Digimon Time Stranger is a game key card.
That is the safe assumption these days, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't assume anything's real until they actually say it. Which, again, apparently Indiana Jones is for some fucking reason. But
yeah, yeah. I think we got everything. I mean, like at the very least, it's on Switch, and then the Switch version, it's just a normal card.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious if they have an upgrade path, like if you for Digimon, if you like buy it on Switch, like is there like an upgrade pack for like $10 or $20?
Yeah, because I know Square Enix has generally been not great about that for games that like released after the Switch 2 came out. Like a lot of the games that came out before Switch 2, they gave upgrade paths because it's like, oh, you had no other option before. I don't know how. Who is it? Namco Bandai for
Bandai
Digimon?
Namco.
Bandai Namco. Yep. I'm not sure what their like established history with that is.
Because like with Shadow Labyrinth, I believe there was a upgrade path. I'm double checking this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an upgrade pack. So I'm wondering if it's going to be the same with Digimon Time Stranger. So we'll see. It looks like the upgrade pack is free too. So yeah, I'm really curious if Digimon Time Stranger will like follow suit there.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm gonna check right now because it's on the website right here. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah. At least not one listed yet.
Yes, at least not one listed yet.
Yeah.
Which...
So not a hard deconfirm, but not a great sign.
Yep. I don't see anything regarding an upgrade path. So.
Yep.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, everybody, that is our episode for this week. Kevin, thank you for having all that information for us. And go check out Kevin's video as well on the direct and his thoughts there. Kevin, do you have anything for the people before we dip out?
No, other than Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Definitive Edition when, I guess.
I hope so. We all hope so. All right, everybody. You can follow me on socials at CamFinalMix, and you can follow Kevin on socials at Kevin Kenson. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the podcast. And until next time, we'll catch you later.
Later.